I want to share with you 5 mistakes that I used to make that kept me struggling, that kept me in lack, kept me struggling to manifest money. See, I remember when I learned about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, immediately it just felt like, oh wow, this is a superpower, because this is the one thing that I've been waiting for. This is the one thing that's going to literally transform my life. This is the one thing that's going to finally set me free from debt, set me free from lack, set me free from limitations. And when I started to apply the principles, the teachings, the tools, the techniques, and the methods, my results was inconsistent. It wasn't consistent. And I was like wondering why? I'm trying everything, but nothing seems to stick. It was up and down, up and down, up and down. And then I realized there was 5 mistakes that I constantly made that kept me in lack, that kept me struggling. And I want to share those mistakes with you. And whilst I'm sharing these mistakes with you, I want you to ask yourself, am I actually making the same mistake, right? Okay, mistake number 1, the first mistake that I used to make was I just was not clear. I was not clear and I was not consistent. So what do I mean by that? So if I had a money goal, right, I would say, okay, this is my money goal, and I would stay consistent for maybe a week. But then the second week I would change it. I would change it and I would jump from one shiny object to another. And I would jump from one tool or method, a technique to another. I just was not consistent. I was not focused and I was not clear. And that it left me confused because I wasn't clear. I didn't have a target. That was my first mistake. And mistake number 2, my second mistake that I used to make is I used to procrastinate. In other words, I was addicted to procrastination. Now I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I knew I had to change my mind. I knew I had to change internally. I knew what I had to do daily, but I just did not do it. So I constantly made excuses for myself. I told myself, no, I'll do it tomorrow, next week, next month. I told myself, well, now is not the time. So I had all the excuses of why I could not do what I was supposed to do. Now, you know what? I actually call procrastination an addiction. Now, what is an addiction? An addiction is doing something that you know you're not supposed to do. And what is procrastination? Procrastination is knowing what you're supposed to do, but you don't do it. So it's really just an addiction. So you're addicted to not doing what you're supposed to do. So that was my mistake. And the third mistake that I used to make was I actually did not feel worthy, deserving, and good enough of my desires. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel deserving. I didn't feel good enough. I thought that no, I first had to do something in order to get. So I didn't actually feel like, oh yeah, of course I'm worthy. Of course I can have this. I thought, no, I first had to do something. And furthermore, I didn't believe in myself. And deep down, I doubted myself. I was like, nah, I don't think this will work for you, Gabriel. Sorry, who do you think you are? So in other words, I struggled with imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is when you doubt yourself. Imposter syndrome is when you do not believe in yourself. Imposter syndrome is where you don't feel worthy, deserving, and good enough about yourself. But now get this, imposter syndrome is just a story you're telling yourself in your mind. Now the thing about a story is like my hoodie. If this hoodie smells funky, I'm just going to take it off. Now, similarly with imposter syndrome, if the story doesn't serve you, it controls you. Because let me tell you something, you are worthy as you are. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to validate it because your existence is eternal and it's valuable. You are worthy as you are. You don't have to do anything. Now, the fact that you are worthy as you are, you now get to experience any desire. Because you have to understand that you are a child of God. You're a child of the universe. You are energy. This is a scientific fact. On a fundamental level, you are energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So in other words, you are connected to source energy, and you are a child of God, you're a child of the universe. That's why you are worthy as you are. But now there's a story in our heads that says that no, you don't deserve it, you're not worthy, you're not good enough. That story is not even real because you can't touch it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it. So I had to remove and release that story because it just was not serving me. That was the third mistake that I used to make. And the fourth mistake was I had money blocks. Now, what is a money block? A money block is any thought, idea or belief in your head that tells you you cannot be wealthy or abundant, that tells you you cannot achieve your money goal. So the money blocks that I had was like, wow, money is scarce, I have to work hard for it, and there isn't enough clients. Those were just money blocks in my head. But now, of course, it was based on some truth. But here's the thing you have to ask yourself. Is it the ultimate truth? Of course, it's not the ultimate truth, because there's more than enough money floating around. There's 8 billion people. So of course, there's so many clients for me, and I don't have to work hard. I know a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues that don't work hard. They only work a couple hours a day and they make loads of money, thousands and thousands of dollars. So which means that wasn't ultimately truth. Again, it was just a story in my head which I bought into, and because I bought into it, it felt real. It felt true. But the story is just like my hoodie. If the story doesn't serve me, I just have to take it off. And that's exactly what I did. And the 5th mistake that I used to make was I saw myself as a victim. I saw myself as a loser. I saw myself as someone who is not successful. I saw myself as struggling. That's how I saw myself. Now, self-concept is basically how you currently see yourself and what you believe to be true about yourself. So I did not see myself as a victor. I didn't see myself as a winner. I didn't see myself as successful. I didn't see myself as someone who already has my desires. I saw myself as constantly complaining. I saw myself as always being sorry for myself, feeling sorry for myself, struggling, being in lack. And that was also a story in my head that I also had to take off and release. And when I did that, everything changed, because all I had to do was these mistakes that I shared with you. Mistake number 1 is I wasn't clear, and then I became clear in what it is I wanted, and I remained focused. I didn't chop and change. I just remained focused and I stick to my goal. Okay. And then mistake number 2 was procrastination. I knew exactly what I had to do and I started doing that. No more excuses. Mistake number 3 was imposter syndrome. I knew that anything in my head that tells me that I'm not worthy was just a lie. And mistake number 4 was money blocks. I knew that any story in my head that tell me I cannot be wealthy or abundant was just a lie. And mistake number 5 was self-concept, and I started seeing myself as a winner, as a victim. I started seeing myself as someone who already has their desires. And that's what I did. I stuck and I was like committed to these 5 steps. So my question to you is, are you clear in what it is you want? Or are you just like me, how I was, chopping from one goal to another and being inconsistent and not being focused? And my question number 2, are you procrastinating? Are you addicted to procrastination? Do you know exactly what to do but you still don't do it? Question number 3, do you believe in yourself? Do you doubt yourself? Do you feel unworthy, undeserving, and not good enough? Question number 4 that I have for you is, do you have money blocks? In other words, do you have a story in your head that tells you why you can't be wealthy and abundant? And are you actually buying into that story? And question number 5 I have for you is, do you see yourself as someone who is struggling? Do you see yourself as someone who is lack? Do you see yourself as a victim? Because all you need to do is just become clear right now and start doing what you're supposed to do, and start seeing yourself as someone who is worthy, deserving, and good enough of their desires, because you are worthy as you are. And just release all the money blocks that you have in your mind that's no longer serving you, and start seeing yourself as someone who is successful, who is thriving, who is a victor, who is the best of the best in their field. When you start doing that, everything will change, and that will have you manifest and attract money on a consistent basis, because that's what I am experiencing right now. Now, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you as well. Now, if you do not believe in yourself, I believe in yourself. I believe in you. I know that you've got what it takes, because you've achieved so many things in your life, and this is just one of those things. So what I want you to do is really become clear, overcome procrastination, conquer imposter syndrome, release all your money blocks, and see yourself as a winner. Now, if you need help, I am inviting you to join me on a 5-day challenge. So I'm inviting you to join me on a 5-day challenge where I'm going to coach you one-on-one for 5 days, and we're going to work together to manifest all your desires and we're going to work together for you to become crystal clear in what it is you want. You're going to learn how to become consistent. You're going to learn how to focus, and we're going to work together on how to overcome procrastination. We're going to work together on how to conquer imposter syndrome. We're going to work together on how to release all your money blocks, and we're going to work together on how to shift your self-concept, your identity to the version of yourself who already has your desires. So if this video is speaking to you, I want you to go to the description and join me on a 5-day challenge, because I'm so excited. Do you know why? You deserve everything and more. Why? Because you are worthy as you are. I'm so excited to see you inside. Cheers.